Hi, I'm Bill Corcoran Jr. This is the On the Stacks podcast.
Oh yeah, whoa, look, they can never keep me down, I'm going, and if I ever fail, just know I'll go again. I never quit, cause I know that every loss may lead to another win. I'm going up.
How much money did you help somebody with? What did you do with that funds? People made those donations to the Luzerne Foundation, not to sit in some bank account. They made that money to Luzerne Foundation because they want to do something. They want to be part of something. That they were the stewards of that money, fix something here in northeastern Pennsylvania.
Hi, I'm Bill Corcoran Jr. This is the On the Stacks podcast. Today, I'm chatting with Dave Pedri, President and CEO of the Luzerne Foundation. This episode is brought to you by Manscaped. Here at On the Stacks, we know the importance of using the right tools to deliver smooth results. Designed for performance, safety, and comfort, Manscaped is the complete package when it comes to men's below-the-waist grooming and care. The Lawnmower 4.0 is equipped with skin-safe technology, which helps reduce the risk of nicks and cuts so it's gentle enough on your most precious jewels. And because it's waterproof, you can trim the hedges come rain or shine. Not only does Manscaped have the finest trimming technology, but they also offer a full lineup of hygiene products to keep your boys dry and fresh all day long. When I find myself in a hairy situation and it's my balls on the line, I only trust Manscaped, and you should too. And that's why Manscaped is offering all On the Stacks listeners 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com when you use code STACKS20 at checkout. Again, that's manscaped.com to get 20% off plus free shipping. This episode is brought to you by Burn, the fitness company behind the Today Show approved Burn board. If I'm being honest, working out can be a real chore, especially as a new dad in desperate need of sleep and cardio. Burn is founded by NEPA native Jimmy T. Martin, and his Burn board offers a low-impact core and cardio experience unlike anything I've done before. They have hundreds of on-demand workouts that are great for beginners, seasoned athletes, and out-of-shape podcast hosts who love supporting small businesses. My wife and I use it pretty frequently throughout the week, and it's honestly a great way to burn a ton of calories without burning a ton of cash. Not to mention, it's a great tool for skiers, runners, wrestlers, and hockey players. Jimmy is offering all On the Stacks listeners 15% off when they use the code STACKS15. Visit theburn.com today to get 15% off your purchase with code STACKS15 at checkout. Again, that's theburn, THEBRRN.com to get 15% off your purchase with code STACKS15. It's time to get on board today with Burn. This episode is brought to you by Blue Door Financial. Blue Door Financial will help you save money and reduce taxes to live a fuller financial life. To learn more, visit Blue Door Financial online at BLUdoorfinancial.com. That's BLUdoorfinancial.com. What's up, podcast episode 102 of the On the Stacks podcast in the Blue Door studio. Dave Pedri, I'm really excited to have you here, man.
Bill, thank you so much for having me here today. I'm a little surprised it took you to 102, but I'm happy I didn't get to 103. That's a big thing for me.
I'm sorry it took. I'm sorry it took this long. Jeez.
No, I think that your listeners really were just whetting their appetite.
Yeah.
So
we're building up to you.
I see what you did. I think that's well played.
Yeah. We're building it up. But no, I'm glad you're here because you do a lot of really great things. You're so committed to the community here, and we got a lot to cover today. Attorney by trade, district attorney's office, to your time as Luzerne County Manager. There's a lot going on. But before we get into kind of all that and how you got to where you are and all that stuff, everything you've done, let's kind of start with a little bit of your background. You're a Hazleton guy.
Sure, yeah, Hazleton born and raised. Yeah, listen, I'm Luzerne County born and bred. Grew up in Hazleton. I went to Bishop Hayfie High School, small Catholic high school in Hazleton, and I think a lot of the high school experience kind of, it kind of like formed a little bit of what I want to be doing in my career. Okay, so because it was a small school, we all had to play football, and then we all had to be the Jets and the Sharks in the play, and then we all had to do basketball because there just weren't enough of us, and we did mock trial and student government, and I loved all those aspects of all that stuff. So after Hayfie, I really enjoyed it. Off to St. Joe's. I went to St. Joe's undergrad in Philadelphia. Always knew I wanted to be a lawyer.
I was going to say, did you know that growing up as a kid?
It was mock trial for me. It was the high school experience of doing mock trial. And, for your listeners, that's a a program in Pennsylvania that the Bar Association puts on where kids get like a case and they put it together and they have to perform it in front of a jury. And as soon as I started doing that, it just clicked. And my dad was a lawyer.
So how old were you doing this?
I was probably 16.
Okay.
And I just loved all of it. I loved the theater of the courtroom. I loved the arguing. I loved the grandeur. I loved putting a case together. I loved all the whole pieces. So I knew I wanted to go to law school from a young age. And so I think about, I'm working with a bunch of colleges now, and I think about when we ask kids to make a major, like, you're 18. Now, what are you going to do for the rest of your life? Make a decision right now.
Yeah, that's tough.
It's brutal. But like, I was just blessed to be able to do that. And so I went to St. Joe's, majored in political science, but only because I knew I wanted to go to law school. So what was the most interesting to me?
Yeah.
was political science. Then law school at Temple. And, all through law school and, St. Joe's, I always had eye coming back home to Luzerne County and doing other things. But, I just started applying for jobs in Philadelphia. I was like, okay, maybe I'll work for a small firm. I did a bunch of internships at the Pennsylvania Attorney General's office. And I thought, maybe that's where I'll be. And all of our friends were down there. I met my wife at St. Joe's.
So did you think you were going to stay down in Philly?
At first, yeah, we really did. I mean, I took the New Jersey and Pennsylvania bars because that's what you have to do if you're a Philadelphia lawyer. And I'm still a member of the New Jersey bar. I don't think I've ever used it looking back on things. But this opportunity came up to move back home. And I had an opportunity to move back home to Hazleton. I decided to come back home. I live outside of Hazleton now in Butler Township, same house I moved into in 2004. I was going to work with my dad, and that was going to be the plan. My dad was a one solo practitioner lawyer, real estate practice, municipal solicitor. That's what I was going to do. Opportunity came up to go for the DA's office. And I figured I'd do that for about a year. And then, that just took my career in a different direction.
Tell me about it.
So, I mean, first off in the DA's office, everything I loved about law school or anything like that was just the litigation side of it. I loved that courtroom lawyer stuff, okay? Like the lawyers that you see in television. That's the kind of stuff I always thought I wanted to do, and I loved it. Like my sister's an attorney, and my brother-in-law's an attorney. But him and their attorneys, their attorneys compared to me, the type of I'm attorney, in the way a mouse and a whale are both mammals. I mean, they handle tax law and all these different things. And, right now my sister's doing cyber currency, and I don't even know what she does, but I'm happy she's happy. But that's all I wanted to do was to do courtroom stuff. And as a young lawyer, the only way to really, really, really get courtroom experience is in the DA's office or PD's office. You see these civil attorneys, and I have a bunch of my friends who are civil attorneys, and they do like the car accident cases and the medical malpractice cases. And if they get into court for a real trial twice a year or 3 times a year, that's a busy year. I mean, in the DA's office, we were trying cases. I tried, 40 cases in my time there. We were trying cases the first week that we started.
So you wanted to be in there doing it.
That's all I wanted to do. And I loved it. And I love working with police officers, and I loved the camaraderie of working on a team and stuff like that. So my best friends there, the DA's office, and did that for 7 years. Dave Lupus was the first. He hired me at a cool $30,000 right out of law school.
How much?
$30,000.
Nice. You're rolling in the dough.
At 24, I thought that was a lot of money. and then as the bills start coming in, and
some's not adding up.
You gotta pay a mortgage and my student loans and this. And I'm like, well, this doesn't really seem like a lot of money, but it's something that you enjoy, And I think that has kind of formed my career on. Maybe I pass up the larger amount of money for something that means something as truly something. Listen, Luzerne County I'm born and raised. It meant a lot to me to be working with Wilkes-Barre City Police Department, the Hazleton Police Department, the people, the guys and the women who I knew on a daily basis. That meant a lot. And the Pennsylvania State Troopers, who were some of the best investigators I ever came across. And I loved it. I did that for 7 years. Dave Lupus hired me. Jackie Carroll was the next DA. Jackie Carroll, she actually promoted me to be the deputy district attorney. At this point, I'm 28. I think I know everything.
Making more than $30,000.
I make 45, 50 at this point. I loved it. And, I got to try a bunch of homicide cases. But, one case that always sticks out to me, and that's why I brought my friend Patches here.
Yeah.
Was the Gothic kittens case.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
So the Gothic kittens case, I was, at this point, I was like, you it's like any other job. You come up with a little sort of like who you are, right? So I'm trying cases. I'm doing all these things. I'm in the community. I'm helping police officers. And my boss calls me in one day and she's like, Dave, did you see that cat case? No, I don't have a pet. I never grew up with pets. I got 3 kids right now. I want nothing else that poops in my house. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm good, and so I'm like, yeah, that's crazy about the cat. She said, can you try the case? And I was like, oh, I don't want to do the cat case. But then, like, we started the process, and myself, and there was another attorney with me who was my co-partner and a good friend, Alexis Falvello. She did a phenomenal job on this case, and I'd be remiss not to say what a great job as a true partner she was on this case. And we started this case. And the Gothic kittens case was a woman by the name of Holly Crawford. Holly Crawford cut off cats' cut off their tails and pierced their ears, and was selling them on eBay as Gothic kittens. And, it started getting to the point that people started looking at this. The SPCA did an undercover investigation actually with PETA. They brought in Holly Crawford. They saw that the cats who were unfortunately, they had infections. They were doing a bunch of different things, and they arrested for cruelty to animals. So we're trying the case, and I get a phone call one day, and it's starting to make a little news, but only because it's an odd case. It's not the normal.
Yeah, it is an odd case.
It's not the drug dealer kills drug dealer. It's not the DUI, something along those lines. It's a weird type of case, and so I get a call one day from Dr. Melinda Merck. And Dr. Linda Meyer is the forensic veterinarian who worked on Michael Vick's dogs. So Michael Vick had the dog fighting ring at this time. This is around 2000, maybe 8, somewhere around there. This was
all around the same time.
Right. So, Michael Vick was in the news every single day with his dog fighting ring. And she calls us up and she says, I want to come testify in your case. I read about this. I think this will be phenomenal. And she talked all about how the kittens were pierced behind their necks. And, that's a form of submission. Because the mother cat grabs a kitten by the back of the neck, and they can't communicate because they communicate by their ears. And I know a lot about cats now that I never thought I would in my whole life.
Yeah.
So
You're a cat expert.
So Dr. Linda Merck says to me, I want to come up and testify. And I was like, Doc, listen, these are expensive. Like, I don't have money for an expert. This is a misdemeanor case. Her exact words: I'll do it for free. The kittens need a voice.
Wow.
So what I said. Welcome to wilkes-barre. We'll put you up in Genetti's. So she came up, she testified, she was phenomenal, and really the whole case came down to really the difference between cats and dogs. Because their defense was you do cut some dogs' tails and you do cut some dogs' ears so that they stand up like boxers and other types of breeds. And it was a knockdown, drag-out battle. We had a 2-week trial of all these experts screaming, yelling, fighting over stuff like that. The courtroom was packed every single day. Saturday Night Live did a joke about it. Seth Meyers, that's still on my DVR, did a joke about Gothic kittens. It made national news. This picture here.
Hold it up a little. Yeah.
Yeah. This picture right here is Patches. I have it framed. It's in my office right now. This is from a kindergarten in San Diego that got mailed to me after the case. And they were like,
how did this kid find out about it?
She saw it in the news, and it made national news because it was a different type. It was the classic dog bites man, man bites dog type of case.
Yeah.
So we had the case. We ended up, she ended up being convicted. We're very pleased with the result. She got house arrest, more than happy with it. Fast forward about 4 or 5 years, Holly Crawford was actually convicted of double murder. So it's a whole different world.
Wow. Yeah.
It's a big jump, but but like in all my time at the DA's office, now fast forward, 2 weeks after that, I tried an actual homicide case where another human being killed another human being. It was like me and an intern in that courtroom. Nobody cared.
So you went from like, full courtroom, PETA showing up to empty.
It was nuts. It was nuts. And it was all in that courtroom. That's what, I think that's where I started like my affinity to the courthouse, Luzerne County Courthouse. And I had tried a bunch of cases at the DA's office, and that was going to be my career. But then Jackie Carroll, who was my boss and, definitely an advocate for me throughout my career, lost the election to Stephanie Salavantis. And that's when it clicked to me what government really is, what politics really is, how that really works. And, Stephanie beats her, runs a great campaign, beats Jackie Carroll. All of a sudden, I'm without a job. So I start going to private practice. I start changing things up. How do I get back into doing these things? For about a year and a half, I ran my own practice. I specialized in whatever came in the door. So somebody would come in and say, hey, listen, I got a workers' comp issue. Like, I love workers' comp. Yeah, come on in.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah, sure. I think I'm going to get divorced. Oh, yeah, it's a great idea. Come on in. Do you pay a bill? Yeah, sure. But I did that for a year and a half. Opportunity comes up to be the chief county solicitor for Luzerne County. At this time, Luzerne County changed their entire form of government. And I took that job.
And what is that job? Explain that.
So Luzerne County is a county of about 320,000 individuals, and in 2008, we had the Kids for Cash scandal. We had a bunch of judges that were indicted. We had commissioners that were indicted. We had all these different people who went down for a various number of reasons. It's a really a black mark on Luzerne County. So the voters voted in home rule form of government in 2010, and what this is, it changed the entire form of government that we had here. No more. The only elected officials we have anymore are a district attorney, a controller, and 11 county council members. Other than that, everything works under the county manager, sort of like a CEO, board of directors type of relationship. And the solicitor comes in, this basically the in-house lawyer. So for your business fans out there, basically in-house counsel. So you're handling all contracts, you're handling all drafting of legislation, you're working on those things on a daily basis. A lot of HR issues, those are the issues that came up with the solicitor's office quite a bit. Bob Lawton, who was the county manager at the time, gave me the opportunity to do it. County council approved me to be chief county solicitor, and I took over that job in 2013.
Okay. So then what?
So did that. County solicitor for until 2015. But as county solicitor, I learned a little bit about everything. For those of us like solicitors out there, for municipal solicitors, you have to know a little bit about every piece of government, and it's exciting and it's different, but it's also there's not a ton of answers on all the things. We have to find it. And the craziest thing about my job was it was the charter. This new form of government came in, so it was basically. I was the first lawyer that really had to say, hey, listen, here's what this document says. Now, there's definitely some other lawyers who were a big part of it. Vito DeLuca, huge part of the transition. All the solicitors, Mike Butera, a ton of great solicitors I was able to work with. And they were all part of the transition. And so when I took over, it was my job to say, hey, this is the first time we're ever looking at this document. And here's what your job is. Here's what the manager's job is. Here's how we go about doing things. If you remember, Luzerne County was a whole different world. We were in 2010. We were $468 million in debt. It was you had to know somebody to get a job. There were no bid contracts. It was all these issues that came up, and we said we're going to straighten all those things out.
So it was a bit of a shit show.
Oh, it was nuts, man, and it was crazy. And I did a lot of this where I'd look at something like we signed what?
Like, oh no,
dude, we agreed to what? How does that work? So I had to do a lot of unraveling as a lawyer.
Yeah.
As a lawyer there.
A lot of backpedaling.
Yeah, a lot of backpedaling, a lot of fix it. But then Bob Lawton decided to move on in 2015 to another opportunity. He was the county manager. And I looked around and I said, I think I can go after this. I can do this.
The county manager.
County manager job. So this county manager job is now 2015. And, I think most of my career is based upon the statement of, how hard can it be? People do this stuff.
Yeah, I could do it.
How hard can it be? People do these things. Like when I was a lawyer, people were like, oh, it's a homicide case. Like, oh yeah, how hard can it be? It's just a normal case. We'll figure it out. But we figured it out. And then what I found was obviously it takes a whole different skill set and to really work and understand those things. But this job as county manager, the reason why I went after it as a young man of 36 was because I was like, you know what? I don't want to sound cheesy, but it was an opportunity to really do something. Okay. So the most frustrating thing about me being a student of government or something like that is that could you really effectuate change? Could you really do anything? A speech is nice and you give out a nice check and you have a ribbon cutting ceremony and those are all great things and everybody claps and that's lovely. Did you change anything? Did you really do something? And county manager was an opportunity to really do something in a place that I knew and loved. Okay, so now Luzerne County at this point is in my blood. Okay, so I'm born and raised. I have, like I said, I have 3 kids. I'm choosing to raise my family here. I could have gone elsewhere. I could have taken a job elsewhere. Looking back on this, could have made a lot more money elsewhere. But this is who I am. And I want to be here. And I want to do something here in northeastern Pennsylvania.
Why?
I don't know. It's just who I am. And I just think that northeastern Pennsylvania is worth fighting for. And I'll tell you the truth is that what bothers me more than anything else, and I've said this a couple of times when I was county manager, was that we have a true issue with our own self-respect here in northeastern Pennsylvania. We're the only ones who put ourselves down. Okay? But look around northeastern Pennsylvania. Look at the amazing trails we have. Look at the mountains. Look at the riverfront that the county has. What I found even in my time now at the Luzerne Foundation is look at the people who just want to lend a helping hand. Do people want to be involved? Yeah, I'll help you. That's who we are in northeastern Pennsylvania. And I think that's what drew me to this job, was an opportunity to really do something. And then, I got the county manager job in 2015. And, we started.
Off to the races.
And I found out real fast that, like, my grand ideas were,
they were grand.
You got to put them to the side, Dave. You got to get to work. All right? Because at the end of the day, the Luzerne County government is a 1,400-person corporation. 1,400 people work for Luzerne County over 32 separate departments, over an area the size of Rhode Island. So the state of Rhode Island actually fits within Luzerne County. So, and when you talk about citizens, we have over 320,000 citizens, but people commute into Luzerne County. That number raised to about 500,000 people. So now we're the government that provides 911 service, prison, anything to do with the courts, mental health, children and youth, human services, all of these things that are just like, tax assessment, mapping, community development. I mean, all these different areas. I knew just enough to be dangerous in 32 areas of county business.
Because it's a lot of stuff.
Well, it's a lot. And, what I found was that, 10% of my day can go to work the big goals that I wanted to work. Okay. The big things. And then 90% of the day was working as basically a CEO of a corporation. And I had to work that. And I had to understand how that works. And I understand, management and walking around and how to keep people motivated in the union workforce and those types of things. And I learned. Really proud of some of the things we got accomplished. In my time there, we paid off over about $125,000 worth of our debt. We're on a path right now in Luzerne County to be out of debt completely in 2029, which is unheard of because in 2012 we were $468 million in debt.
Yeah, and how much did you pay off?
So far, the county is about $250,000, about $250 million.
Nice.
So we're making their tough decisions. You have to double pay the pension because make sure the pension is there for the people who were promised that they would have a pension. We have to make sure that's there. We have to make all those things. And then also I found myself, unfortunately, like I said, I wanted to be the guy who I want to put up big signs. I want to do these exciting new things in the county. And then I found myself being like, oh yeah, we have to fix the boiler in that building. No, that's no fun.
It's not as fun.
No, but you have to do it. What are you going to do? We got to fix the roof. And I was like, every time my operation guy would come to me, he's like, we have to switch the switch. I'm like, I don't want to be the guy who changes out the switch gear in the courthouse. But he's like, you got to change the switch gear. I'm like, shit. All right, we got to change the switch gear. That's $200,000.
Yeah.
Change the switch gear. But those are the types of projects you have to get done. And it's about being stewards of county buildings. One of the greatest accomplishments of my career, I think, is the complete renovation of the Luzerne County Courthouse. If you haven't been to Luzerne County Courthouse in a while, please take the opportunity to do it. It was built in 1909. It's a once-in-a-lifetime building. It's, unfortunately, it fell into disrepair. People were able to smoke in that building up until the mid-90s. So there was smoke damage, there's water damage. And we had, John Canning and Associates came in. They redid the entire facility. And it has it's all lit right now. And it's really like a once-in-a-lifetime building because we're only going to get one of those. So I think I was really very pleased about the renovations of the county courthouse. I was really pleased about paying off that debt. I mean, and one of the things that I brought here was this Hanover 9 shovel, which you see here.
Yeah.
In my time there, what I really believe to be the next chapter of Luzerne County in northeastern Pennsylvania is these incredible distribution centers that are coming into Luzerne County. If you recall, all we've ever heard about here is, well, since the coal mines closed, there's not a lot of jobs. Well, now there's more jobs than ever before because there's places like Hanover 9 for North Point. There's places like Rob Miracle's Center Point. Okay, these facilities that came in, and they're Fortune 500 companies, Chewy.com, Adidas, Patagonia, True Value Hardware. These facilities, Amazon is in Hazleton. I mean, like...
Right in your backyard.
Right in the backyard. So all these places are coming into Luzerne County. Why? Because A, we have a workforce. We're workers here in northeastern Pennsylvania, okay? Like, that's who we are. We always were. Number one, we're always workforce. Number two is you can put anything on a truck in northeastern Pennsylvania, and it gets to a third of the population of the United States within 8 hours. You can get to Boston. You can get to New York. You can get to Philly. You can get to D.C. You can get to Cleveland. I mean, like, all these different places that you can get to right here in northeastern Pennsylvania. So people started to see this, and, you know, now I'm pleased to see other people moving into Luzerne County. There was just a report about U-Hauls. I don't know if you saw this.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so Pennsylvania was one of the lowest states in the nation for one-way trips into Pennsylvania for U-Hauls, meaning not a lot of people were moving in here, except for Luzerne County, which was one of the number ones in the nation. So what that means to me is, yeah, there's people moving into the area. You know, are they exactly the same people that I grew up with? Absolutely not. They're not. That's not who we are. That being said, hey, maybe they buy a house. Maybe they put their kids in Little League. Maybe they volunteer at their church. Maybe they work at this facility. And now all of a sudden, now we're building a community. Okay, look at a city like Hazleton. Hazleton, you know, like, it was a dying economy, all these different things. These facilities come in here. Now Hazleton's a vibrant, active city with like small businesses that are really jumping through the roof. One of my best friend from growing up, you know, best man at my wedding, owns a gym in Hazleton. And, you know, he's got a small business, owns a gym in downtown Hazleton, but it's jammed and he's working hard at it. That's the American dream. That's who we are in northeastern Pennsylvania. And that's what I love about it.
Yeah.
So that job opportunity, I think, is something that I was there for the beginning of it. Obviously, county council had to work in a bunch of different ways to make that work. There were some tax abatements and those types of things, but it made it happen.
Yeah. So kind of going back to it. So basically, you were in charge of like a 1,400 person company, essentially, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So talk about that for a minute. Like, what was that like? You know, basically managing all those people.
Well, the thing most difficult thing about it was we don't just do one thing. That was the most difficult thing about it. So we don't I have 1,400 people, but we just make widgets. And
right.
I'm really, really good at making widgets. I know exactly how that works. But like the most difficult thing was, understanding how community development works and how they take those HUD dollars and leverage those for other grants. The engineering people, and then like, oh, by the way, you still have to fill potholes. Luzerne County, for some reason, has 300 bridges, 300 county-owned bridges. Now, I've been told that the entire state of Pennsylvania has 600 county-owned bridges, and we have 300 of them.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, like, when I was a county manager, I was like, literally, if you want a bridge, like, we will buy you a bridge. You can have one. But every time you have to replace a bridge, it's six figures because like it's an environmental study, it's an engineering study, and some of these bridges are so small they're like as big as this room.
Yeah.
They're like over these little creeks and tributaries. But what are you going to do? You have to get them done. So we owned all these bridges. It was all part of that. That was difficult to do with. But listen, I was lucky to work with some of the best people at Luzerne County. I had some really great division heads, department heads, people who knew that on a day-to-day basis, and so like I could trust them to run their facilities. You know, people like Lucy Morgan at EMA. Okay, so in my time as county manager, I had the first ice jam flood in 80 years.
Yeah, you had a lot
Correct.
that happened.
Yeah,
first
ice jam flood 80 years. A pandemic.
Yeah,
a pandemic was a big one. A tornado hit the mall.
Yeah.
We had 4 blizzards. We had a cyber attack. We had a couple water main breaks. So I always said, like, if somebody saw a locust, you gotta let me know because I'm feeling like somebody's trying to tell me something.
Yeah, you had a lot that went on.
My resume for Homeland Security is legit.
Yeah.
But like what I found was that obviously working with emergency management and our sheriff's department, Brian Sumsky there was, listen, okay, establish a perimeter, establish media relations, understand what's going on, establish public relations. Number 2, Where's the safety side of things? But this is all training, and like the first time I walked into that room, that EMA room during that potential flood we almost had, that was the ice jam flood. I don't know if you remember, there was giant pieces of ice falling in West Pittston. It was unbelievable. It's like you're running through stuff. Like, it's a little taken aback. So listen, I'd be the first to tell you that I was never trained in EMA or anything along those lines. But what I always could do was listen to the people who really knew and get that information in a coherent sentence to get that out to the public. And I found myself that to be my biggest goal. I was the public information officer. When we did like the testing center for COVID at the arena, that was a big deal. Like, we were fighting for testing like you wouldn't believe. That's what blows my mind, that you can walk into any ride right now and get a vaccination for COVID-19. When I tell you we were like almost competing with other counties to get vaccine during like the height of the pandemic, it was insane. And I had to be on these calls and be like, hey, listen, like I know your county is elderly, but I got 320,000 citizens, and that's why this vaccine should come here, and your people can drive here, and I can make this happen for you. And it was, it was very difficult for me because you had to advocate for your people, but at the same time, I mean, we're all Pennsylvanians, we're all Americans, and we're all humans, so we want everybody to get the vaccine. But like, so it blows my mind right now when we were like, you could walk in any CVS and be like, and which one do you want?
Yeah.
Which one do you
your
want?
Preference.
Which, like a dealer's choice.
Yeah.
But that was a crazy time because we had to fight for testing. We had to fight for vaccines. I mean, we had to fight for assistance for our hospitals and when you think about a nurse that saw COVID from March of 2020 and how many people died and how many hands have she held. A good friend of mine is a nurse, and she was talking about holding up an iPhone so this father can say goodbye to his family. Oh, that's real life, man. I mean, like, so what can we be doing to help the hospitals and the medical staff? And then like not even that, and then like I think the thing like nursing homes snuck up on everybody. Oh yeah, nursing homes. And then like there's so much COVID in nursing homes that was falling. It came a time there during the pandemic where I unfortunately saw myself almost like the Grim Reaper because I had to be the press guy to say, oh yeah, we've lost 68 people today, and here are their ages. We lost an 81-year-old woman, and these are our mothers. And like, you only see the same thing so many times, but every day was that report, and it wore on me. And after the pandemic, I mean, not really after the pandemic, because obviously we're still in the pandemic here in 2022, but like, that's when I started being like, okay, like, what's next?
Yeah. How did you deal with that pressure? I
was blessed to be able, like I said, I was blessed to have the people around me who really cared and wanted to be involved with something. So I had some great managers. The county council, though some members of county council and I never agreed on anything. I would say this: everybody was working on this together, and we did a ton of different things, but someone had to be the leader. Okay, not the leader, but someone had to start the conversation of, hey, listen, let's do this together. Okay, so one of the first things I did was I did the COVID task force, and I broke up what we do into different areas. So I had business leaders and how do we keep the business open, and then I had procurement. I mean, like, okay, who are the guys that can get out there and get us, N95 masks or those types of things, or hand sanitizer or anything along those lines. How do we get that out there? How do we get that to the public? I had a PR team made up of professionals in Northeastern Pennsylvania. And this is, once again, goes back to Northeastern Pennsylvania as to who we are, is everybody I called, I was like, hey, listen, can you help me with this? It's going to be like Zoom calls and all this stuff, but like to a person, absolutely. Whatever you need, Dave. Every single person did that. So we made these different teams for the COVID hotline. We had all these different things that we can get done. And, I look back, I actually looked it up the other day. I lifted the mask mandate at the courthouse because the CDC said that you can lift the mask mandate indoors. And I was like, oh, we did it. Yay, we did it. We made it. We're on the other side of it. And then like, bang. I mean, obviously I was out of there by the time Omicron hits, everything along those lines. And I'm like, oh, maybe that wasn't the best decision I ever had. Trying to, do that. But, you deal with it, and you day-to-day operations. I mean, it was weird working from home for me. I think now where we're at right now is we're just living in a society right now where everybody seems like there's an opportunity to work from home in almost every job, at least in some way, shape, or form. But at the county, we never had that option. So like, listen, we're moving a county, an old school government to, I hate to use the word pivot because everybody says pivot, but like to basically change, I'm not using pivot, but like to like now we're an online workforce. Because at the end of the day,
but that was difficult.
Oh, it was brutal. And then like, because at the end of the day, like, we had people, okay, well, they don't have computers. Okay, get them laptops. They don't have logins. How do we log them in? How do we make sure they're working? How do we make sure this happens? Because at the end of the day, you're still a government. Like the people still need to make sure that we still have to record deeds. We still need to make sure that the Register of Wills is open so we can close estates and make sure that gets done. Hey, listen, we still have to have marriage certificates. Oh, by the way, the courts need to be open because the people are still having PFAs and those types of things, and they still have court cases and crime is still going on. Like,
it doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop. So like, whereas like I think businesses could say, hey, listen, we're gonna put things on hold and maybe we're gonna take a beat on profits. We were never able to truly stop. So we had to pivot to an online workforce, which was difficult. I mean, for me personally, it was, Zoom calls every minute of every day, phone call, this. I found myself exercising more because it was actually helpful because I think everybody was doing those types of things. But like every day at 5 o'clock, I get in the treadmill. And I watched a lot of violent television my wife would never watch with me. So like, but like those were the television shows, Narcos and Game of Thrones and those types of things. But like, I was able to turn off for a second.
Yeah, that was kind of my next question was how did you find that work-life balance amidst all of that?
Well, I think that at some point, you can only say this is as far as I can go for today. Okay, a good friend of mine said to me, hey, listen, Dave, you're going to get 2 things off your desk every day. Okay? 2 things off your desk every day. 2 major projects off your desk every day. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot. Okay, but you have 8 hours in a day, just your work day. 2 major projects. But think that through for a second. 5 work days a week, that's 10 major things get done in a week. 4 weeks in a month, that's 40 major things that came off of your desk every single month. That's an impressive number. Okay, so focus on getting things done. I would like to think I've prided myself on the guy who can actually get things done. I wanted to be the guy who started a project and finished a project. Okay, like I wanted to be the guy who said, you know what, that's an issue right now, and we're going to be able to fix that. And we're going to get to the end of that. I worked enough government to say there's platitudes. Oh, yeah, we're going to get to that. And yeah, that's an interesting point. I'm going to circle back on that.
It never happens, yeah.
And then everybody feels good and we all shake hands, but did anything get accomplished? I think it's like any corporation, you stop the buzzwords and get to work. So like I was able to get those things accomplished. So, but at some point you have to say, okay, that's as far as I've gone for today. And let's keep that work-life balance and move on from there. I got 3 kids. As you can probably tell, I have major control issues. So I coach them in sports. I coach them in baseball. I coach them in soccer.
How old are your kids?
Evan's 14, Andrew's 11, and Julia's 7. And we did soccer and baseball. I mean, you want to talk about stress relief? Just throw batting practice for an hour and a half. I mean, I'll tell you what, dude, that just relaxes you like you wouldn't believe. And we had fun doing it. And you meet parents, you want to be involved. And, for anybody listening, if you have an opportunity to volunteer, even if you don't have kids in the league or something like that, and you can just have an hour of your day to teach a goalie how to get down a ball or something like that, it changes everything, man. So I really enjoy coaching youth sports. I mean, be part of something. I like the athletic piece of it. It was always something just to go about doing those things. But I think we all adjusted in our own ways to the pandemic. But we were still able to accomplish a lot of things we wanted to get done at the county.
So what else? So at what point did your transition go from the county to more to the private sector of Luzerne Foundation?
So I'm doing all this stuff with the pandemic, and the pandemic starts. I mean, like I said, everybody tries to do the best stress relief. Everybody does, but it's starting to wear. Okay, like my hair starts turning gray.
Yeah, I can see it.
And I found myself also getting short with people who are my friends, and I'm fighting with people, and I'm doing these things. I mean, it's not who I am. It's not the reason why I got into government at this point. I mean, 5 years of this, and the county, and I kind of maybe look back with like a rosy, tinted color glasses here, but like it's a fight. Every day is a battle. I mean, county council has its own strong personalities, and they want to get things done. And then like we have a strong news media market here in northeastern Pennsylvania, so I dealt with media every single day of my career. And what is this going to look like in the media and those type of things? And but like it was those big projects to get done that kept me that kept me there. Things like the Rockin the River concert, which I brought this beautiful picture here for you, Bill, which hangs in my office. It's, the Rockin the River concert series is something that I started with Teddy Wampel and the Tourism Bureau. This is something that we started, brought over 6,000 people out to listen to music at the Riverfront Park in Luzerne County. We don't use that park enough. So awesome. People are out to listen to music. The little lady from Plymouth is pulling up with her, her lawn chair, sitting next to the heavily tattooed young lady who came in to see the Nude Party play. Awesome. That's what it's about. I love that. But it was those types of projects that kept me there. But towards the end, I started thinking about, okay, what's next? Where do I go from here? And I felt like I kind of felt like I've taken that bar as far as I could. If the first manager, Bob Lawton, had to get things settled, okay, that's Act 1. I was Act 2. I was okay, we're settled. Let's get everything to the point that we are now moving forward. Okay, we have things established. Okay, I moved the story that far. I don't think I ever saw myself finishing Act 3, which was, what's it look like when it's over? What's that vision look like? I just found myself moving on. I'm ready to move to that point. And this opportunity came up to work with the Luzerne Foundation. So the Luzerne Foundation is a not-for-profit based here in northeastern Pennsylvania. It's a community-based organization, and it's got over 370 separate funds. And what these separate funds are made up of people like you and me who maybe want to do something in the community. And we're the completely boring nuts and bolts part of what we do is we handle all the 990, we handle all the IRS, we handle all the finances, we handle all the accounting. Well, not me, the people who work for me. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a lawyer. I don't want to do math, but that's what we do on a daily basis. Okay, that's who we are. Okay, but all these different non-for-profits come and work for us. But people like the Delisio family, who have people like the Earthly Autism Angels, and they had a child who was affected by autism, and instead of saying, "Hey, listen, we were really upset by this, and we're going to try to turn internally and just take care of our family," they looked outward, and they've quietly raised $250,000 for autistic groups in Luzerne County. People like Karen Barnes. Karen Barnes was a river guide, and he saw the people at the river. He was at the Whitewater Rafters in Weatherly, and he saw these kids that were kind of like floating and didn't have money for college, that kind of stuff. So he put his own money together, and now we have a scholarship fund where he gives out a scholarship every single year to kids who want to work on the river and do stuff outside. Okay, these are the type of people who want to be involved. In addition to some extremely generous, well-meaning families, it's just some families that are completely into Luzerne County fabric. For people like Frank Bevavino, the Flack family, so many different families that became part of this main crew. I mean, people like Alan Kluger, an attorney from Horgan, Kluger and Quinn, just a bastion of the community, want to be involved. And this started this process, and I found myself very quickly gravitating to this because it was all after the county. It was all nice people who want to do nice things.
Not as many roadblocks.
Oh, it's nice. It's great. We help, today I had a meeting with somebody who wanted to do a scholarship for medical students. That sounds great. I'll help you with that. That sounds great. And then we had a meeting with the YMCA. The YMCA wants to expand their camp. They have this beautiful camp, Camp Kresge, and they're going to do this camp for disadvantaged kids. They have to expand that. They have a new building. I would love to help you with this. Let me help you find the funding to make that work. And that's the best thing about this job. And it kind of just leads me to the reason why I got into this in the beginning was to kind of do something, to be involved here, to be part of something. So this is why I'm super excited about this opportunity now. I've been there now about 6 months.
Really cool. How's it going?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I'm on Melody, man. It's a different speed. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a different speed.
Yeah.
At the county, it was, my days booked from 10 to 10:30 to 11 to 11:30 every day. And, this one, it's a different speed. It's not for profit, but the need is always there. Okay. What motivates you is the stories. Volunteers of America have this amazing program where they give out car seats to kids who have, to families who have a child who can't afford a car seat. The hospitals can't let the family go who have a newborn child if they don't have a car seat. And you're a young father.
Yeah,
you have these car seats can be expensive.
Yeah.
So Volunteers of America, all they do is they give out car seats to kids in need. That's beautiful. That's somebody I want to help. That's a nice day. you know? And then you get to do these things. And, you know, honestly, we have a $50 million endowment at the Luzerne Foundation. We give out $5 million a year in grants and scholarships, $5 million a year in grants and scholarships. The problem that I have is if I ask 20 people out here in your shop right now, what does the Luzerne Foundation do? I guarantee you the 19 of them wouldn't know who we are, what we do. So it's up to me to kind of like wave our flag a little bit. And that's why I want to thank you for having me on to this. Because it's up to us to show, hey, listen, here's who we are. Not to pat ourselves on the back.
No, but you got to get the word out there.
You got to get the word out. Exactly. So, you know, Patriots Cove is an amazing organization that helps veterans have a wonderful day. You know, injured veterans who need a day to fish and to be outside, and like not only for the veteran but for the caregiver of that veteran. It's awesome. It's a beautiful organization. They're one of our funds. Okay, like so maybe somebody reads about that Patriots Cove. Maybe they say, hey, listen, maybe I want to do something like that, or maybe I want to volunteer. That's how we build something.
How does an organization like that get involved with Luzerne Foundation?
All they got to do is call us.
All
they got to do is call us. I mean,
say, what's up, Dave?
How are you? I have an awesome opportunity. I have an awesome idea. And, you know, okay, this is a great opportunity. Let's get this process started. I'll help you with, we can never fully fund an organization or something along those lines, but
we can help.
Let me help you along the way. Let me contact our donors who, like, if you have a fund that supports, everybody loves kids and puppies. Okay, so like, you know, so like
you found out after about that cat case.
Everybody loves puppies, and then like so I want to do a thing where we help the SPCA. Okay, great. Here are the fund holders who I have who've supported animal cause in the past. Let me call them and see if they'll throw you some money as well and get this process started. And then you become a fund holder of us. We handle all your 990s, all the tax issues, everything on those lines. You get a page on our website with a donate now button. You can get right out in the community immediately and really truly do something. And that's the best part about the job is, you know, like we turned over a scholarship. This woman had her husband passed away, wanted to do a scholarship. We're in the middle of scholarship season right now. We give out so many scholarships. We turned it over in 3 days. And now she's going to give out a $10,000 scholarship to a kid in need right here in northeastern Pennsylvania. Awesome.
That's powerful.
That's awesome. I mean, like, that's what it's about. You know, it's a nice day. Yeah. It's a nice day at work. Let's just say that.
Yeah. So what's your team look like?
So we have the Luzerne Foundation is staffed by 4 phenomenal women. Diane Ducko is our COO. You know, and you know, it's only myself and 4 of the people. So it's a bit of a swing from 1,400.
I was going to say, yeah, it went from 1,400 down to just a few. And but that's okay.
These lovely ladies, I mean, like I come in the first, I'm real, I don't know how you are, but I'm super motivated first thing in the morning. I have all the coffee, I'm ready to go. Yep. And I'm ready to, like I told you, our friend Lauren's going to text me to find like a...
Yeah, she was badgering you to...
Oh, she was like, you have to come to this podcast with items that speak to your character. And I'm like, you know, like I don't need this stuff.
What did I sign up for?
I don't need this for you. I got this tonight. I'm trying to get to work. But like, you know, like I come in first thing in the morning and these poor women, I have them running around 15 different directions and I have 18 emails that go out at once. And, you know, they do a phenomenal job. And I would be remiss to not mention Charles Barber, who was the former president and CEO of the Luzerne Foundation. Charles was in my role before that. And Charles, in his stead of 21 years in this role, really set the standard and, you know, made this an organization that is revered in the community. And now it's my chance to grow it. It's a nice place to be in.
Yeah, what are you looking to do? What's your goal?
Well, I mean, really the goal is I want to see engagement. We should never, I say $50 million endowment because people...
Yeah, what does that mean?
So there's $50 million that we hold, that we manage, that we provide out to people. Like, you know, but you get somebody like University of Pennsylvania is like a couple $1 billion endowment and that kind of stuff. So you're only allowed to give out about 5% a year of your endowment, but like, you know, it's an impressive number, but we should never be judged on that number. In my opinion, we should be judged on the amount of money you give out. Okay? How much money did you give out? How much money did you help somebody with? What did you do with that funds? People made those donations to the Luzerne Foundation, you know, not to sit in some bank account. They made that money to the Luzerne Foundation because they want to do something. They want to be part of something, that they were the stewards of that money, fix something here in northeastern Pennsylvania. Awesome. You know what? We're going to do that. So it's a matter, in my opinion, we have to, what I like to see in the next 5 years of Luzerne Foundation is I want to increase that opportunity to get money out to the community as best we possibly can. I want to increase the ability of people, you know, through podcasts like this to come to us and say, hey, listen, I got an idea. What do you think about this? I have a housing initiative. I have this. I'm thinking about doing skateboards, free skateboards for kids. How do I do that? Cool. Let's do that. Let me figure out a way to make that work for you. That's the type of stuff that I hope in my 5 years here, or the next 5 years of the Luzerne Foundation, we'll say this is where we're going.
Yeah, it sounds like you're on the right path.
Well, so far so good, man. So I mean, like like I said, it's been 6 months, and they haven't kicked me out yet.
You're still there. So like, how can somebody like me get involved? Is there an opportunity?
Absolutely. So any individual who's interested in doing anything for within northeastern Pennsylvania, but mostly within Luzerne County, can reach out to us. There's Luzerne Foundation's website, which is luzfdn.org, or just go to our Facebook page, or just Google us, or there's all of our information's up there. You can email me directly. All of our information's up there. Give us a call. I mean, like, even if you just have an idea, all right, the worst you can say is no. I mean, what I always said with the county was, people have said this a couple of times, but I was like, I can't stand it when I see something, I say, hey, they should fix that. They should do something with that playground. They should do something with that stop sign. That's ridiculous. Well, guess what? There's no they. There's no like cavalry. There's no they. There's no like mythical guys in black coats that come up and fix everything. It's us. It's me, and it's you, and it's we got to be part of something. That's how we build a community. And you want to fix a stop sign? Go to your municipality meeting and say, hey, listen, I want to fix a stop sign. Great. Here's how we go about doing it. You want to fix a playground? Great. Call Dave Pedri, Luzerne Foundation. We'll help you raise money to do it. Here's how we do it. You want to do something? Let's do it. And I'm with you. And if people reach out to us via our Facebook page or via our website, we're going to point you in the right direction.
Really cool. I really love and appreciate your commitment to the area.
Oh, it's nice to say that, man. Like I said, it's I don't know, man. It's part of me.
Yeah.
It's part of me, northeastern Pennsylvania, and I want to do something here. And one thing I miss about the county is a project. I want to like that. I started this and I finished this, and it was together. But that's what we're trying to do with the foundation now. Let's find a problem, fix the problem. These $500 checks are lovely. They're nice. Everybody claps it on the back. How about a $25,000 check to an organization? How about a $100,000 check that builds a building where our homeless can be housed, and we can train them and have job training? How about a scholarship to Misericordia so you can get a kid who's got no chance to be a physical therapist and like walk out of there with an $80,000 a year job? Yeah, that's what it's about. That's the opportunities.
Yeah. Do you have any message you want to leave with our listeners?
Get involved. There's no way around it. I mean, it's easy. People, everybody has an opinion all the time. Okay, everybody has an opinion.
Of course,
everybody has an opinion. Talk a big game. Blah blah blah. Everybody's just, you want to do something? Let's do it. Okay, you like government? Me too. Go to your local municipality. Go to your government. Go to your county government. Try to fix something. Go to their websites. Be involved. You want to do something in your community? You want to do something on the nonprofit side? Reach out to the Luzerne Foundation. You see a not-for-profit that needs assistance? I guarantee you they need volunteers.
For sure. Yeah.
Go help them out. That's your chance to be part of something. I mean, like, one of the things that we started with the Luzerne Foundation is the Young Professional Group with the Wyoming Valley Chamber of Commerce. Ignite Giving, you find all the information on our website, is as a giving circle that young professionals are hoping to put together. Look around northeastern Pennsylvania. It's the same old people on the same boards, this kind of stuff. I hope the next generation of leaders see this giving circle that we're putting together called Ignite Giving, to see that as an opportunity to say, oh, maybe I do want to be involved. Because, what I find is, and now that I'm no longer part of the younger generation,
you're not that old.
I'm 43, man. I gave myself out of the, I put myself out of the young professional group. But what I find is that people want to be involved. They want to have that opportunity, and they want to know where their money goes. Fair. Great. There's a ton of organizations that want to be involved in. So here's what I'll say to your listeners. You want to do something? Listen, do it. And it's not about sending an email or putting something on Facebook or sending a tweet. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
That doesn't move the needle. You want to make it work? Get up and go to the meeting. Pick up a phone, call somebody. That's what it comes down to. But the best thing about northeastern Pennsylvania is you can actually make it work here. You go to New York City and you go to you're one of 4,000 people who speak. Your voice is not going to be heard. Northeastern Pennsylvania, your voice will be heard. That's what it's about.
I love it. This is cool.
Thanks, man, for having me on. I really appreciate you having me on. I appreciate
Yeah.
what you do here on a daily basis. I did listen to your podcast. I didn't get all 102 of them.
Well, you better catch up. What are you waiting for?
I got a good number.
Jeez.
I got a good number, but I appreciate what you're doing here and trying to draw
Yeah.
attention to what we're doing.
Absolutely, yeah. I love having on people like you that are just you're a great community leader, and I really appreciate what you're doing.
Oh, kind of you to do that. I say the same for you. And listen, man, I can't leave this patches here with you, but I think it's a good opportunity to get out there to our kids.
Yeah. All right. Dave Pedri, the Luzerne Foundation, on the Stacks podcast in the Blue Door Studio. Thanks for joining me,
Bill. Awesome. Thank you so much for having me on.